Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and here's my post-fight review for Liam Smith vs. Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit skeptical of Chris Eubank Jr. going into the rematch. He was winning the first fight until he got caught and hurt by Liam Smith. But when I heard he dropped Roy Jones as a trainer and picked up Bomac, basically 4 weeks out from the rematch, I thought it was a bad move and it was out of desperation, which made me skeptical. But I was wrong because Bomac is what Eubank needed in this fight, and I'm impressed by his performance. From the start, you could tell there was a difference in Eubank. Instead of moving around a lot and keeping his hands low like in the first fight, Eubank was in front of Liam and kept his hands up in a more conventional guard, only using movement to get in and out of his range. But this change would allow Eubank to effectively use an active jab against Smith. Like in the first fight, Smith came out in a high guard looking to pressure Eubank and counterpunch him, but Eubank's jab controlled the distance and also controlled and manipulated the high guard of Smith. This kept Smith out of range and at the end of Eubank's punches. And whenever Smith did close the distance and try to let his hands go, Eubank would clinch and smother Smith, which would reset both fighters, allowing Eubank to re-establish his jab and control the distance. Because of this tactic, Eubank dictated the pace and controlled the entire fight based off his jab. Going into round 2, Eubank would work off his jab, throwing fast, multiple combinations that would break through Smith's high guard, with the right uppercut and the left hook being the most effective punches, and Smith had no real answer and made no adjustments to Eubank's offensive strategy. Smith spent most of the fight behind the high guard, waiting and looking to counter with one big shot. He had a very low output, and he was able to land a couple counter right hands, but those were few and far in between. Most of the time, Smith was getting beat up. Smith got dropped in the 4th round by an uppercut and would get hurt bad again in the 5th. Smith would have an opportunity to get back into the fight that same round because Eubank would gas himself out trying to finish Smith, but Smith could not capitalize because he was still hurt. Eubank would eventually recover by round 7 and his confidence grew. He began to take more risk and he was attacking the body more, which is something that I like. He was trying to stop Smith and it would work. Because the fight would end in round 10, Eubank would hurt Smith, forcing him to take a knee. Eubank would then pounce on Smith and let his hands go, forcing the referee to stop the fight. I haven't seen a lot of his fights, but this was the best I've seen Eubank, and I'm looking forward to see how he develops under Bomac. In the post-fight interview, Eubank stated that he would want to fight either Conor Benn, Kilbrook, or Triple G, and from a money standpoint, those are good fights for Eubank, but in my opinion, Eubank should focus on becoming the champion at middleweight. The division is wide open. All the current champions at 160 are beatable, and Eubank would be the biggest name and draw at middleweight if he became a champion. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content is coming your way.